I'm sure there are a great many people in my audience that can easily recall the story in the Bible where there was a group of men who had caught a woman in adultery, and they had brought her out to be stoned, and they had asked Jesus, who was present, what he would have them do, trying to trap him. And he simply stated, well, he among you who is without sin, let him be the first to cast a stone, paraphrasing the scripture there. And each one of them, having a stone in their hand, dropped and walked away because they couldn't be her judge. Now, it was never said anywhere in the Bible that she wasn't guilty. In fact, Jesus told her, "Where are thine accusers? Go and sin no more," acknowledging that she had, and that he was granting her forgiveness for what she had done. It's funny that we teach this as Christians, but when it comes to somebody like a man who's 7 years in the grave or a woman serving a 20-year prison sentence, that we just completely forget the idea that none of us are without sin. None of us are without weakness. And this constant clamor to see, the dirty, horrible, nasty details of the sins of a dead man, to me, is an indictment of where we are as a country. I had thought about using this particular image as a thumbnail, and I thought it'd be better for a video later on. Isaiah 43:18 talks about leaving the prior things to be prior and moving forward. Now, all this having been literally 25 years ago, I want everyone to remember this. What happened with Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell and Virginia Giuffre and all the girls 25 years ago. I had to go back and look at some of the details, and I found a detail that I think a lot of you might be interested in, but go get something to settle your stomach, because this is going to be a hard pill to swallow. There was a specific detail about this that I had completely forgotten about because it had been so long. It was old news back in 2015 when Hillary Clinton brought it up, running against Mr. Trump back then. And here we are 10 years on. I had used this also as an image about why they are now claiming national security after saying, well, they're going to protect the victims. Why would they say protect the victims? Well, it's real simple. The girls all committed crimes too. The girls all committed crimes too. There is no statute regarding prostitution and age. A 16-year-old who willingly engages in prostitution is just as guilty of a crime as a 26-year-old. Trafficking only occurs when something is done against somebody's will, and all of these girls are on record saying that at one point or another, everything they did willingly. It was that when things got moved to another level, that all of a sudden things got a little bit uncomfortable for some of them. But the initial situation they put themselves in, nobody put a gun to their head. So real quick, 3.5 minutes in, just always never want to forget, thank you very, very much, all of you who've joined this Patreon channel. Very much appreciate all the support. Definitely could sure use it these days. Even Patriot Nurse had spoken a video or two ago about, her only doing one video a week. I think she's probably moved on from the whole YouTube paradigm. It's a very, very difficult thing to do without a backup like Patreon. So God bless all of you. 4 levels, 2, 5, 10, 15 a month. Different videos for different levels over there. Love to have you over there. Fully refundable, not for you. First 90 days, no questions asked. Hundreds of videos never before seen on YouTube. That's what you get. Gloves off content. So real quick, let's get right to it. Wanted to show this picture real quick just to debunk something that Donald Trump has said multiple times, that he doesn't drink. This is him in Russia many years ago with a glass of wine in his hand. He absolutely did drink. He drank at the, many witnesses saw him drinking at the Playboy Mansion years and years ago. But the big story that I want to talk about today is a detail about, and I have this zoomed in for a reason so that you can see something. Virginia Giuffre, I've used this picture before. Where's the child? This is 2000, 2001-ish when this picture was taken. And this is these two people now. Wait, what? Flora Monkey, hold on, wait. That's right. Look at the guy. Look at the girl. That's them then. This is them now. You wouldn't even recognize them. That's how long ago this was. 25 years. 25 years ago. But here's the detail that I think a lot of people are missing, and even I forgot about it. Epstein's settlement with Virginia Giuffre to be made public affects Prince Andrew case. Boil this down in a nutshell, this part of it. She was living in Australia and had been living in Australia for a very long time. She had traveled to Thailand to attend a Thai massage school. How did she get to Thailand? With money that Jeffrey Epstein gave her. She flew to Thailand, and you would ask, well, how did she get to know Jeffrey Epstein to begin with? Where did she meet Ghislaine Maxwell? I mean, was Ghislaine Maxwell just walking around local high school parking lots and just looking for girls? No, this is going to be the hard part to deal with. This was what made this so ridiculous back then. She wasn't even a U.S. resident. She had no standing to sue. She was a resident of Australia and had been for a long time. Here's the part that's going to be difficult for a lot of people to get. Here we go. Virginia Giuffre, born Virginia Louisa Roberts, Sacramento, California, 9 August 1983, to parents Sky and Lynn Roberts. Family relocated to Loxahatchee in Palm Beach County, Florida, when she was 4. Jeffrey, his younger brother, came from a troubled home, molested at a very young age, mentally scarred, was a runaway, lived on the streets at age 14. She was involved with a 65-year-old sex trafficker, a man named Ron Eppinger in Miami. Jeffrey lived with, and Jeffrey's the main accuser of Jeffrey Epstein, lived with Eppinger for 6 months, ran a front business for an international sex trafficking ring known as the modeling agency Perfect 10. He was raided by the FBI, and he later pled guilty to charges of alien smuggling for prostitution, interstate travel for prostitution, and money laundering. So she was a prostitute before she ever met Ghislaine Maxwell or ever met Jeffrey Epstein. She was involved in prostitution and trafficking herself before she ever met Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein. At age of 14, Jeffrey reunited with her father, returned to live with him. Her father worked as a maintenance manager at the Mar-a-Lago property owned by Donald Trump, and also helped Jeffrey obtain a job there. In middle of the year 2000, Jeffrey met Ghislaine Maxwell when working as a spa attendant at Donald Trump's private Mar-a-Lago club while reading a book about massage therapy. Maxwell, a British socialite and daughter of the late media tycoon Robert Maxwell, and we have a picture of that, I don't think I brought it up, darn it, of Trump and Robert Maxwell together, approached Jeffrey, noted the book that she was reading, inquired about her interest in massage, and offered her a potential job working for Epstein as a traveling masseuse with the assurance that no experience was necessary. Now remember, Virginia Giuffre had already been a prostitute, already done the whole massage thing, giant air quotes there, for money, long before she got the job at the Mar-a-Lago. When Jeffrey arrived at Epstein's Palm Beach home, she says he was without clothing and lying down, and Maxwell taught her how to massage him. And here's what she said after that. They seemed like nice people, so I trusted them, and I told them I'd had a really hard time in my life up until then. I'd been a runaway. I'd been abused. Worst thing I could have told them because I know how blah, 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 blah. So, long story short, this all got started at Mar-a-Lago. This all got started at Mar-a-Lago, and she was so traumatized by that event where Ghislaine Maxwell showed Virginia Giuffre how Jeffrey Epstein liked to have a massage. She decided to continue. She decided to continue in the employ of Mr. Epstein and traveled to Thailand and attended the International Training Massage. Ghislaine Maxwell provided her with the tickets and instructed her to meet with a specific Thai girl to bring back to the United States for Epstein. That's what Virginia Jeffrey was doing in Thailand. But she met a guy. A rich guy, an Australian martial arts trainer, got married, and then decided, you know what, I'm going to take the money and run. And she took off to Australia. And that was the end of the story until Hillary Clinton showed up in 2015. That was the end of the story until Hillary Clinton showed up, knew about all this stuff through Bill, and drug her out of Australia and got her to make charges against this and bring all this up and get this all going so that she could use it as a club to hit Trump with. That's how this all started. So Trump is knee deep, waist deep, hip deep, chest deep in this. So when you hear national security on this, Virginia Jeffrey was a massage therapist working at Mar-a-Lago. Now think about this. You're a property manager for this rich billionaire playboy type who spends a lot of time with Playboy models and goes to the Playboy mansion, and he's got half-naked models running around, and you bring your 14-year-old daughter there to get a job as a massage therapist at the spa. Who does that? Who does that? Who in the world brings a 14-year-old girl into Mar-a-Lago as a spa attendant at Mar-a-Lago? So, like I said, if you're going to cast stones and you want the list and we want the list and we want the names, and they would have to charge the girls. They would have to charge the girls because a lot of these girls, and she's just one example, recruited other girls because of the money that was involved. So with the number one, John, being dead, the number two, Ghislaine Maxwell, doing a 20-year prison sentence, who's the next person down the line involved in this? Who's the next person you could get? Sitting president of the United States will be the next person that you could get without going after the girls themselves, because they weren't trafficked against. Trafficking is against their will. It's not like, they can't. Age of consent has nothing to do with prostitution. Age of consent has nothing to do with prostitution. Prostitution 16, prostitution 26, prostitution 46. It's all prostitution. In fact, go back and look at what they got Epstein for. He was already charged with a crime, and he already did jail sentence for it. Soliciting prostitution. That's all they could get him for. And none of the information, none of the information has changed since that time. 25 years ago. 25 years ago, no information has changed. It wasn't trafficking. It's teen prostitution. Already been settled. Already done. And the reason you're not going to hear a word is because they're trapped. Kash Patel and Pam Bondi, and the facts haven't changed. Publishing the list of everybody who was there and whatever was done, you start mentioning names and actual allegations, those people are going to lawyer up, and those lawyers are going to say, well, you know what? Okay, then let's drag all these girls in and charge them because they're on record having stated that they did it willingly, that it wasn't against their will. Age irrelevant. The age is irrelevant. So I will leave it there. This might be something that Trump supporters might just want to let go and move on. There's other things, is what my whole point. What's the point of this, Monkey? What's the point you're talking about? My advice is we should just let it go. The man was charged. Multiple things. Millions and millions and millions of dollars have been paid out in settlements. The banks that he was even using, J.P. Morgan Chase and Deutsche Bank, have paid out tens of millions of dollars in settlements already to these girls for this. He's dead, and his accomplice, Ghislaine Maxwell, is doing 20 years in prison. What more do you want? Seriously, what more do you want? That would make a difference. Now, 25 years later. So, I'll leave it there. God bless. Thank you all who've joined us at Patreon. I very, very much appreciate it. And it's one of those things that many years ago I just had as a lark and, was going to do different stuff over there. But now I'm glad I set it up because, boy, it's what's keeping the channel going right now. So, God bless all of you. Thank you so much. Pray for each other. Pray for me. I'll pray for you. Lift each other up. Like, share, subscribe. See you guys next time.